Hello, everybody. Hello, YouTube. Hello, art history enthusiasts and visual culture aficionados. It's me again, Miss M, and I'm back with yet another video. And today, I'm not doing a Shining video, okay? So let me just get that right out the way immediately. I'm not doing a Shining video, I'm not doing a Stanley Kubrick video, I'm not doing a David Lynch video, I'm not doing a Quentin Tarantino video, I'm not doing an art analysis video. I am doing a public service announcement. I hope this helps somebody. Oh, I wish somebody had told me this when I was in the middle of the stuff that I am going to be talking about today. Okay. I don't know if you're new to this channel or not. For my good people who have been with me since day one, or my subscribers and people who visit my channel and watch my videos frequently, I just want to say thank you for being here. And this video might apply to you as well, because I don't know who you are or where you're at or what you're up to. Who knows? You might benefit from whatever it is, whatever nonsense or malarkey I'm about to say in this video today. Again, it's a public service announcement, and I'm trying to help people today. I'm trying to do something nice. I don't know if it's charitable, but I hope it's nice. I hope it does help somebody. Let me just show you right away what we're going to do here. How to get better grades without trying. Okay? All right. I have some stuff to say about the educational system and what a sham it is. And, how they just kind of steal years and years away from you. They steal years of your life, and there you are. It doesn't even matter where you're at by the time they're done with you, whether you're 18 and done with high school, or you're 21, 22, 23, whatever, and done with undergrad in college, your bachelor's degree, or grad school, or whatever. They get their money, don't they? Okay? And you, the student, the person who's been through that system, in many cases you have absolutely nothing to show for it, other than perhaps, if you're lucky, a piece of paper that says you went there and you did the shit, right? You got your education. I'm here to try to possibly make that process a little bit easier for you. And I come to you as a person who has been through that process. I've been through all stages. All the stuff I just listed, I've been through all stages of that process. And I know what a pain in the ass it is. All right? It can be fun, but in many cases it is not fun. Especially at the lower levels, like high school, undergrad, or, junior college, community college. The most fun I ever had was grad school, but that's a whole nother issue. So I'm here to help people. If you're willing to listen to me, talk and say what I have to say. I don't know, maybe I might be able to help you. Maybe I might be able to make the process a little less tedious for you, because I wish somebody had told me this back in the day. Even when I was very young, very, very young in high school, I wish somebody had told me to just calm down and take it easy, and how to navigate the shit without losing my damn mind. So, without further ado, let's get going. So, here it is. Usually, as you can probably see from my thing, I don't just do Shining videos. I do other videos about art and visual culture, but The Shining is featured prominently on my channel. And, you might come into this video with the subject matter that I'm doing today, and you might ask the question just as Jack did when Wendy ran into the gold room with that bat. Are you out of your fucking mind? I might be. Because, again, I have a problem with the way that the educational system, at least in the United States, runs. As I've already said in this video, I think it's a colossal sham. And my inspiration for making this video is my own experience in the educational system. I feel that I spent a lot of time there. I did my time and I paid my goddamn money, which, the shit ain't free, right? People who want to go to school, they can't just have good grades. They have to come up with the money to do so. And education is terrifically expensive, right? And you do all of that. You put in your time. You do what you're told, basically, to do. And at the end of it all, you get a degree, right? You get a high school diploma. You get a bachelor's degree. You get a master's, a PhD, whatever you get. And that's about all you have to show for it. That's about all you have to show for all that time and effort and energy and money that you put in. And you probably broke your back, figuratively, going through the educational process with not a lot to show for it. That's why I decided to put this together. How to get better grades without trying. And now, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say how to get straight A's without trying. How to get on the dean's list without trying. No. And by the way, I am extremely suspicious of those people. I don't believe that anybody just gets on the dean's list. Just because they're an awesome student. Come on. Everybody gets straight A's today. It's called grade inflation. Okay? So those dean's lists, maybe they meant something 50 years ago, 60 years ago, whatever. Nowadays, please. All it means is that, people are really good at making friends with the right people. Okay? That's what that shit means. And that part of it, I'm not going to get into in this video. And I don't think I'll ever get into it in this video because I can't. I don't have that kind of experience. I was never buddy with anybody during my educational career. I never made friends with the right people. I never kissed anybody's ass. I would just show up for the most part, do my work, as to the best of my ability, turn it in, do my exams, do my paper, all of which I'll cover in this video. And that was that. And I've had pretty good grades, and I've had pretty bad grades too, depending on the subject. So that brings me to another point. What I'm about to say here, it applies especially to people who are studying things like the humanities or the social sciences, like psychology, sociology, anthropology, political science, anthropology, and all the stuff in the humanities, English, foreign languages, philosophy, stuff like that. Maybe even the arts. It's just a matter of following directions. Really, that's it. And another reason why I'm inspired to do a video like this is because I might have mentioned it in previous videos, but I am not the best reader on planet Earth. I'm not very keen on reading. I hate reading. I hate reading stuff that I don't like reading. If somebody gives me assigned reading to do, that's almost a guarantee that I'm either not going to do it, or I'm really, really, really going to have a strong aversion to doing it. And again, I suspect that I might be dyslexic. I haven't been diagnosed with anything, as far as dyslexia is concerned, but I have a very, very strong suspicion. And reading has always been a problem for me. I successfully learned how to read in kindergarten, but people think that school is synonymous with reading, or getting good grades is synonymous with reading a lot, like reading that whole textbook, or whatever the reading assignments you're given by your instructor, or that studying for an exam means reading all of them. No, it doesn't. And I'm here to tell you how to get around all that shit, and still do pretty relatively well on the exam. Okay? And in your class, or in your course in general, when you're going through the educational, meat grinder. I don't know how else to characterize it. I'm not the only person, by the way, who has criticisms about the educational system. Again, at least the one in this country. The one in this country is not geared towards actually making your life better. It is a business. It is an industry. Even something like high school, even something like that. Okay, elementary school, junior high school. You know, though that stage of your learning development, you should be very highly focused on learning how to read, and learning how to read very well, and learning how to not just read. That's basic. But, by the time you're done with like junior high school or middle school or whatever they call it nowadays, you should be able to um, approach a lot of information, a lot of written information, and just churn through it pretty quickly and find its most important parts that you can use for whatever your purposes are. Okay? But they don't teach you that. They teach you that you have to read the whole thing from cover to cover. And no, that's just not right. That's just not freaking right. So, let me go through this. So this is my title slide: How to Get Better Grades Without Trying. Let's hope that I can help somebody with this video. Right? I don't know how long this is going to take me. I really don't. So please forgive me in advance if this goes on for a long time. Here are the components of my little presentation today. Number 1, attendance. Number 2, lecture notes. Number 3, homework and or assignments. Number 4, term papers. Number 5, exams. Okay? So, before I get into that, I got all these like memes and GIFs put together. So, let's check them out. Yes, I am out of my fucking mind. Yes. And then I found this. This is like, you're writing your term paper. Back in the day, not now. Now everybody uses like laptops or whatever to get their schoolwork done. Things have changed in the past, 20, 30 years? Even like in the last decade. This was normal way back when. People didn't have computers. They had a pen, a pencil, paper, and typewriters. And that was what you needed in order to go to college and get your education. Now it's all digital. Okay. Now you have digital e-textbooks, right? You don't even have to have a physical textbook in your hand. Everything can be online. You can read all of your stuff or have it available to read, to look at on your like iPad or, whatever, your Samsung Galaxy or whatever device that you use. It wasn't that way back when. These textbooks were big and heavy, and they took up a lot of space, and they were a drag to like take with you anywhere, right? And they were extremely expensive. And I know for sure that they continue to be extremely expensive, even though they're no longer in hard copy form. But now they're, if you just want an ebook, if you're not getting the paper or the hard copy textbook, it's much cheaper. So if you are a college student, and this video is mostly aimed at college students. If you're a college student and your professor gives you an option to get an e-textbook, take it, because it's usually like a fraction of the price. Definitely of a brand new, latest edition, hard copy version of the textbook. So do that. Jack even has a textbook here. This is, I interpret this as a textbook for this scene anyway. What else should I say? You're distracting me. This is the madness of learning. Like you're studying for a test, an exam, and it just seems like that day or that night when you're studying for the exam, probably tomorrow, and trying to cram for your exam, that's when all the distractions start. That's the night of all the nights that there's something really good on TV, or something that you really want to watch, or somewhere that you really want to go, a party, a social event, a gathering, a dinner, whatever. And it's like, really, I really need to study for my exam tomorrow. I can't be going out and having fun. You never know. Maybe you can. Maybe if you listen to me, you'll be able to have like the most awesome social life and get all your shit done on time and do well on your exams and everything. So let me just get going, right? So first of all, attendance, right? Attendance is key. If you're a college student, high school is kind of like a no-brainer. Like they like send people after you if you don't show up to school so many days, like in high school. In college, it's a whole nother ball game. Like you're paying for your class with money that you've acquired somehow, whether it's, you worked for the money, or your parents are paying for it, or you've got a student loan, or you've got a grant, or whatever kind of scholarship. But money is going to change hands. So like, and you become a consumer when you enter college. You are paying for the course. You are paying for that time period, however long the course lasts, for the experience of taking that class and being able to say you've done it. So once you become a customer, it's a little bit different. They still haven't, they didn't used to be this way. Professors didn't used to care about attendance, but now they do. They care more now in the modern world than they used to 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Before, if you just paid for the course and did your homework and did your exams and your assignments and turned them in and did relatively well, like they could have cared less whether or not you attended lectures. Now with online classes, which have become extremely prevalent during the pandemic, yeah, like attendance, seriously? Give me a break. I know they have Zoom meetings for classes. Sometimes they have something called synchronous, which means that you have to be there at a certain time to participate in a Zoom meeting. And then they have asynchronous, which means you don't. Okay? If you're just new to college or whatever, and you're doing online classes, I would opt for asynchronous. All right? Don't. If you can do it. Sometimes you can't. Like sometimes with stuff like foreign language classes, you have to do those Zoom meetings, but not always. Not always. I've seen plenty of foreign language classes in Spanish, French, whatever, where it's completely online and completely asynchronous and you don't have to do Zoom meetings. Try to choose those if you don't want to. If you want to be able to fully and totally do the course and the coursework in your own time. Okay, so asynchronous, online, no scheduled meetings. You just do the stuff, go through the prompts, and, participate in the discussions. Turn in your assignments in whatever form the professor asks for them, and do your thing and get your grade. Now, as far as attendance is concerned, if you are attending in-person classes in the classroom, on campus, attend as many classes as you can. Okay? I know life happens. I know there are plenty of people who go to school and work, or go to school and they have a family to take care of. They have children. Or they go to school and they have, all kinds of responsibilities. Work, family, children, whatever. And I understand you want, you people, you are the ambitious ones. You are the determined ones. You want to go to school and make that shmoney by working and whatever you do. And take care of maybe your parents and your kids and your spouse and your spouse's family, especially if you're female. Okay, that's maybe a distinctly female problem with regard to wanting or having to do. A lot of times women just don't have an option to say, no, I'll just go to school and work. No, that's a lot of times men are the ones who get to do that. Women have to go to school and work and take care of the kids and take care of their spouse and take care of their own parents and their siblings and, whatever. It's not fair, but that's the way it is. So I know you want to do as much as you possibly can to, but attend as many classes as you can. Don't make excuses. Show up. If your class starts at 7 a.m., show up at 7 a.m. Okay? Don't make excuses and say, oh, it really doesn't matter, or I can get this stuff online. No, show up to your class. I don't care how hard you partied last night. I don't care if you just got to bed at 5 in the morning and you got to be in class at 7. Be in class at 7, goddammit. Don't do excuses. Not like that. Why? Why must you attend classes? It's absolutely imperative that you do, because your professor is not blind. In most cases, you know what I mean when I say blind, I mean figuratively, that your professor will know whether or not you're there. Okay, and if especially in nowadays in the modern world in college education where they actually freaking take attendance. Sometimes attendance is part of your grade. Sometimes, they have a participation portion of the score for your grade. And participation, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to like yuck it up when you're there. All it means is that you have to be there. And that's like the professor's way of like figuring out a way to get you some good easy points. So they have a higher chance of giving you a good grade. Oh, and that's another thing. Most professors don't like failing people. Okay, most professors do not like handing out D's and F's and shit. Okay, it breaks their hearts. But if they have no choice but to do it, if they have no choice but to give you a D or an F, a failing grade in the class, then they have no choice. Like if you don't give them anything to work with, all right, if you don't ever show up to class, if you don't hardly ever turn assignments in, and you show up like the last week of class after being like missing in action all the rest of the time, and you come in and you say, oh, like how can I, do my assignments and whatever. Either they're gonna, depending on what sob story you give them, come on, we're being real here. Depending on what sob story you give them, they're either gonna be extremely annoyed or they're going to feel bad. Because sometimes shit does really happen to people, like illnesses, family problems, whatever, financial issues, homelessness. Sometimes people go to school who have nowhere to live. That's a thing. I know you might, depending on like where you're from or where you're at in life, that is a thing. There are a lot of people who are trying to better their lives through education. Veterans, homeless people, people with a mental illness and whatever kind of issues in that area. People have been to prison and they're trying to turn their lives around. Education is a good way to do it, as long as they're not lied to. As long as they're not lied to, and people tell you, oh, get an education and your life will be great. No, that's a lie. Get an education and your life might be better. That's the best I think they should ever do as far as making promises. Get an education and it might very well help you in your professional life and what have you. That, it might. It might. But an education is not enough. An education is not enough if you want to have like, whatever fabulous life that you think you deserve. All right. Anyway, attend as many classes as you can. If you cannot, if you've committed, you've registered and paid for your course, wherever you're taking it, whether it's a community college, a junior college, a university, what have you, talk with your professor and say, hello, professor. Yes, I want to take your course. I really want to take your course. And explain your situation. Explain that you have to work to support your family. Explain that you have maybe somebody sick at home that you need to take care of and drive to doctor's appointments at the drop of a hat or whatever. And you'd be surprised at how many professors will say, you know what? Okay, I can work with you, even if you can't make it every day to class. And now this is somebody who has a legitimate, like, serious issue and responsibilities outside of school, talking with a professor about, can you kind of ease up on the attendance thing, or can you excuse me for not being able to come to class every time? And they will work with you. And then there are those of us who, were young, or I was young. Some of you might listening now might still be young. Maybe you're 20, maybe you're 19, maybe you're, you just turned 21 and you want to enjoy it. I'm cautioning you, don't enjoy it too much, but you can't come to class because it was Tuesday night and you just had to go out and party. Right? Yeah, that happens. Listen, the professor is not going to buy your bullshit. Okay? No. Your professor is not gonna ever we can tell the difference between somebody who really, God damn it, we can tell the difference between somebody who actually has a life that they're having trouble managing, and responsibilities and family and work and whatever. And we can tell the difference between that and a party animal. Okay? We can see through the lies. It's pretty easy. And especially if you've been working in that area for a long time, you can tell when somebody's lying and when somebody isn't, about whatever excuse that they're using. Okay? And I'm coming to you from experience on both sides. All right, so don't even try to lie if you couldn't make it because you're hungover, or you couldn't make it because you just got in at 6 a.m. or whatever you're up to. Don't try to lie. Just try to do better. And this is what this second bullet is here on this PowerPoint slide, the buddy system. So you want to go to school, but you also want to have, like, as much fun as you possibly can for the college experience, which is bullshit. Bullshit. You shouldn't be paying for that, but whatever. Make a friend. Make a smart, responsible, conscientious friend in that class. Somebody who looks like they're there to, and they mean business. They've got like all kinds of pens. They listen intently to everything that the professor says. And yes, make friends with that person. You might need their notes later on in the semester. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. But attendance is extremely important, especially if you're being graded on it. And also just to get to know the professor. And also, while I'm here, while I'm still on this slide, get to know your professor. Talk to them. Introduce yourself. Say, hi, my name is, and I'm taking this class, and my goal is to get a degree in such and such, and then after I'm done with my education, to move on into a career where I work in such and such field. And, I'm taking this course because I think it can help me or help broaden my horizons or my perspectives regarding my perception of this, that, or the other. Why am I saying this? Because if you're an undergrad, and you have plans for the future. You want to do such and such for a living, or you want to continue with your education. You want to go to grad school. What are you going to need? Recommendations. You're going to need recommendations, and you're going to want to get recommendations from people who actually like you, and who do have nice things to say about you, and and who know you, because that professor, they have like so many students. You're just like a face in the crowd, okay? And then like when you're done, you've never spoken to them. You do the class, you do your exams, and you do pretty okay, but like they still cannot put a face to a name because you've never spoken to them, you've never introduced yourself. So go and introduce yourself and have a little chat, or visit them during office hours. Make an appointment if you have to. Go over there, talk, and that's what you do, because you're thinking in the future. You're thinking about like your future as a whatever you want to do, whatever you want to be when you grow up, right? That professor's recommendation might help you. All right, so that's another reason attendance is important. So I think I've said everything I need to say in that regard. Next, I think I said everything I need to say. Lecture notes. Yo, this is the most tedious part of education. Lecture note, or it was back in the day. Now everything's digital. Oh my goodness, now people don't even remember what a pencil looks like, or a pen, really. Everything is digital. Everything is online. Everything is Adobe Acrobat. Everything is, digital signature. Oh my God. And that's cute and everything, and that's great, and I'm sure it saves a lot of trees. But as far as education goes, I just don't know. So here are my recommendations for lecture notes. Write all of your notes by hand during the lecture. Did you hear me? Yes, I know you have an iPad. Yes, I know you have a laptop. Yes, I know you have a cell phone. Then you can take pictures of your professor's PowerPoint presentation or whatever. Or if they happen to write something down on the whiteboard, You can take a picture of that, and yeah, and like that's your notes, right? No, it ain't. Because like your professor says a whole bunch of stuff in addition to that PowerPoint presentation, in addition to whatever they write down on the whiteboard, in addition to whatever like they hand out or distribute, like used to be flyers or handouts. Now they probably just email things or send them to you through like the school's learning management system, whatever, like whatever one they use, whether it's Blackboard or Canvas or whatever, I don't know. And you're like, why should I write shit down? Listen, write it down. Okay? Go and do this the old-fashioned way. You will thank me later. And you might get hand cramp. You might get a cramp in your writing hand, and you might develop a writing bump like I did, or even a little bit of arthritis. That's okay. All right, this is going to help you for your exams, because if you do everything you can to write down as much as that professor says, as much as they say that you can write down, you write down. That will help you for your exam, and it'll cut down on your studying time. If you put in the work during the class, while you're there, sitting there, listening to the lecture, write as much as you possibly can down. Take the best notes that you possibly can take. It will help you for the exam. You'll have to do less studying. Use a note-taking system when studying for your exam later. I should have done this word later in all caps. I'm sorry I didn't. Let me show you. So here's Jack losing his mind. You're distracting me. Yes. Oh, well, yes, there's his paper. There's Jack's term paper. And there's his professor reading it. Oh my goodness. See, this is what it's like. Especially if they're bad papers. My God. Anyway, so I've put this up for you. This will be in the description. The best note-taking methods. Now, you can choose any one of these that you like. You read through this and you enjoy this as much as you want. I have no recommendation on the best one. There's what? Number 1, the outline method. Okay, cool. There's the Cornell method. All right, cool. The boxing method. Whatever. The charting method. Sure. The mapping method. Ugh, Lord. The sentence method. Great. The handwritten versus digital notes. Like, listen, you read through this. This is a pretty darn good website or web page that explains all of the different note-taking methods and systems there are. Use whichever one appeals to you, whichever one sounds like it'll work the best for you. I'm not going to recommend anyone specifically, because my method of taking notes when I was in school was just write down as much as I possibly can. As quickly as I possibly can. Okay, that was how I did it, and it worked. I did pretty okay on the exams, and I didn't really have to study that hard anyway. Now, when I said use the note-taking system when studying for your exam later, somebody like me, like when you're in class, when you're sitting down, if you're doing a course and you're visiting the classroom regularly every week, and you sit down and your professor lectures and you take the notes. Like, I have no time to remember all of these different rules and regulations for any one of these methods. So I would just write down as close as I possibly could get to verbatim whatever the professor was saying. I gave it my all, and that's why I'm right-handed. That's why my right hand crackles now, and I was good at it too. But I couldn't be bothered. I tried. I read about all these different note-taking systems, and they sound great, but they were not practical for me. Because again, I suspect that I have some kind of learning issue, probably a little touch of the dyslexia. So I couldn't be bothered to try to think that way while I was in the thick of it in the classroom taking notes. So I would just write down every single thing I possibly could that the professor said. And that was my way of doing it. A mess, an absolute mess, but I wrote down as much as I possibly could. And then you use a note-taking system later. Okay? That's how you study. Right? Don't worry about reading that damn textbook. It's a piece of shit. Really. Okay? That's another money maker. Absolutely. Unless your professor says these pages specifically are going to be on the exam, which, like, how often does that happen? Don't worry about it. Buy the shit, get a digital copy, an ebook, and use it. You go through it, like, you skim through the book, every chapter or whatever as your course goes on. Yeah, do take a look at that shit. But that is not, your exam is not going to be based on that. Okay? This is why I'm emphasizing so much taking notes. Use a note-taking system when studying for your exam later. So in my case, the way I did it, just scribbles, like maniacal scribbles, as best that I could do. While I was sitting in class taking notes, I would, my method, which does not conform to any of the things that I just showed you here, no, even though I'm going to put the link in the description, just in case you can use it. Now, my method was taking various different colored highlighters and just highlighting different, portions of the notes. Like, if something was the same subject, I would say, okay, for this subject, I'm going to highlight it pink. And for this other subject or this other topic that the professor was discussing, I'm going to highlight that yellow. And this other stuff, I'm going to highlight blue, especially names and dates and facts and figures and places and, stuff like that. That's especially what I would use my highlighting pen for. But you can also take your scribbles from when you're listening to your lecture and then organize them into one of these note-taking methods and the Cornell method, the outline method, the whatever method, and then organize them that way and make them easy to read. And yes, that's a marvelous way to study for the exam. Yes, you can do that the night before the exam, as long as you go through all your notes and organize them or highlight them or whatever you do. Some people say type them. Some people say take your handwritten notes from class and then type them out. The night before the exam or 2 nights or however long you need. And that will be your way of studying for the exam. That should be good enough. You will retain something. You will remember something. You will probably do okay on the exam, especially if it's an essay type exam. Okay? Like, if I know people hate essay exams. No, you know what? We'll talk about that when we get to the next thing. So, last but not least on this page, recording. ? Recording, in my opinion, should be reserved for people who have hearing issues, who are hearing impaired. Those of us who have ears that work perfectly fine, we don't need recording. We need a pencil. Okay, we need a pencil, we need a pen. Recording, you think you're like doing something smart. You think you're getting like, writer's cramp or whatever. Yeah, I guess you are, but like, are you really going to listen to all those hours and hours and hours of your professor lecturing, like the night before the exam or 2 nights or however long, Yeah, really? You're going to listen to, what, like 5 hours? I don't know, I'm approximating. 5 hours of your professor talking to study for the exam. And like, even if you do that, that's cool and everything, but how much is it going to help you? And like, how much can you really conceivably listen to and retain the information and do well on the exam? My estimation is not a lot. I say just do your notes, take notes, and then do whatever you need to do with those notes to make them easy for you to process visually so that you can easily look over them once, twice, 3 times, however many times, for you to retain the information that you need to retain in order to do well on your exam. Okay, that is my recommendation. That is my suggestion. Let me see what else I got over here. This is for something else. This is upcoming. Okay, so you guys, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. That's what I'm here for. Homework and or assignments. Okay, this is going to be real quick. I know it looks huge because I wanted it to look pretty, but homework and assignments, do them. Period. I should have put period. The second bullet point, I should have said do them. Period. Exclamation point. Just don't do them and turn them in on time. Okay? your professor is going to be real annoyed at late work. Not just because it's a message, an unspoken message from the student that says, like, yeah, I really don't care about this class. I'm just here because I'm here. Like, we know that. Okay? However, do it anyway. Do it on time. Uh, if you need extra time, if some unforeseen circumstances arise, like if you need the extra time, just tell your professor, look, I got some shit going on. Don't use that language, but like I got stuff going on. I've been sick. Somebody's been sick. My boss needed me something. I had a job interview. I had a doctor's appointment. And I just couldn't get it done on time. They will probably, in many cases, work with you and give you an extension or something like that. You just got to be genuine and sincere. All right. Again, professors, they are like walking, talking lie detectors. They know. People lie to them every day. Several times a day. It's kind of ridiculous. So just do your assignments. Do your homework. Do it on time. Do it to the best of your ability. I don't care how you get it done. Other than cheating. Don't cheat. But whatever you need to do, do it. Do it to get your assignment and your homework done. Turn it in. Get it out of the way. Okay? You need to build, even if you're a slacker, even if you're a lazy person, you need to work this into your schedule so that you can, do well and get your full points for a homework or an assignment. If you're listening to this and you're just starting out with college and you're used to the high school method of education, which is ridiculous nowadays, it's like, what the hell are they doing? But in college, homework isn't really much of a thing. In my experience anyway. Maybe in math, stuff like math classes or stuff like that. Like with math, you need to practice every day. And like I said, this lecture that I'm giving you now, this how-to, it doesn't so much apply to the natural sciences because I don't have very much experience with those. I have experience with the humanities and the social sciences and the arts. Okay, that's my thing. And in my experience of those areas, like those different areas of the campus, those different departments or whatever, this works. Do your stuff. There's not going to be very much homework in college. Don't worry about homework. But you're going to have to study for those exams. You're going to have to show up to lectures. You're going to have to do your term paper. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. So there's that. Homework and assignments, just do them. Don't make excuses. Turn it in, for goodness sake. Now, another kind of offshoot of that, term papers. Whether it's, I don't know what you call it. It doesn't have to be like a term paper. It can be like an assignment kind of term paper, like an essay. It's not necessarily a term paper, but it's something that you have to write down, several pages of stuff. Maybe you're answering a question that your professor asked. Or maybe, you're doing a term paper. You get to pick the topic, or maybe your professor picks the topic for you, depending on the circumstances. This is what sends a lot of college students, shivering in their boots. Don't be scared. Just do the stuff. Now, these are my little rules for making that experience easier. Don't be scared. Number one, don't be scared. If you need help, there is help. Don't be ashamed to ask for help. That's what it's there for. But this is what I was showing you here with regard. This Purdue one has been around for quite a while, probably ever since the internet was around. Style guides. Okay, so you got several different style guides. Associated Press style, which why the hell would you use that in an educational setting unless you're taking a journalism course? Chicago style, my favorite. Okay, I love me some Chicago style. Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers style. I guess if you're in the engineering department, okay. American Medical Association, maybe. Association for Computing Machinery. Again, if you're doing that kind of course. Or the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. Okay, if you're in the humanities, if you're in the social sciences, Chicago. That's the one. All right, used in the humanities. There it is. It's like the cleanest, nicest, most organized way of doing it. Like, I know there's like a couple more that are supposed to be good for um, the, again, the humanities, the social sciences, the arts, whatever. Here we are, right? This is, again, Purdue. I don't know, this OWL thing has been around for a long time. That's why I use it. Like, they have the longevity. APA, MLA, right? There's those two. So you can click on these and it'll open up, right? Or Chicago Style Introduction. Again, Chicago Style is the one for humanities, social sciences, whatever. And then I've got another one open here, MLA. Okay, MLA is, what is it? Here's all the stuff that you need to know. Okay, here is all the stuff. They don't have MLA listed here, but so MLA is already open here. MLA, Formatting and Style Guide. All the questions that you could ever have regarding how to do your bibliography, how to do notes, how to cite them, how to, like, the notations to use. They're all here, okay? They're all here. They have a PowerPoint presentation. They have everything. Back in the, and this, again, this is the wonder and the magic of the internet. Back in the day, we just had to buy big-ass books. Big-ass thick books with either MLA or, in my case, Chicago Style, manual, and you just had to know how to use that thing. It's not easy to learn how to use that book. Ugh, it was a nightmare. But you don't even need to worry about that anymore. You just come in here, cite your source automatically. Ugh, in Chicago Style. See, you young people don't have to learn anything. You could do website, book, journal. Okay, so you just start off. Like, let's say you need to do a book. You click on that, and kaboom. They show you how to do it. Very easy. And they have that for a couple of them. APA, MLA, avoiding plagiarism. And yeah, please don't plagiarize. Nothing is more disgusting than a plagiarist. And you know what's even more disgusting than your run-of-the-mill garden variety plagiarist? One who thinks they're smarter than everybody else because they're a plagiarist. No, those people are going to hell. Term papers. So, stick to the prompt. Your professor's going to give you a prompt, whether they hand you a sheet of paper or they just send you, like, on the, the canvas or whatever. They're going to give you a set of instructions, or they're just going to explain the assignment. I want you to write about such and such, is what it's going to say. I want you to write about, history, literature, this, that, whatever you're studying in that class. I want you to write about this subject. Pick something within the parameters of that subject or that time period or whatever you're studying in that course. Okay, stick to it. If your professor says, I want you to write about, oh, for Pete's sake, because, like, my channel is an art, history, and visual cultures channel. Okay, like, let's say your professor says, I want you to write about the Renaissance. I want you to pick an artist from the Renaissance. It doesn't matter whether it was the Italian Renaissance or the Northern Renaissance or whatever. I need you to pick a Renaissance era artist living and working in Europe. I need you to pick one of their works of art, and I need you to write such and such about it. Do that. Don't be like, oh, I don't want to write about the Renaissance. I want to write about medieval art. I want to write about Baroque art. I want to write about Pablo Picasso. No, goddammit. No. The assignment is to write about the Renaissance, not about modern art. Not about Vincent van Gogh. If you want to write about Vincent van Gogh or Pablo Picasso or what, go take a class on that. Why are you there taking a class on Renaissance? If you really want to learn about modern art, you should have taken a modern art class. Okay, so write about what your professor tells you to write about, whatever subject area, whatever. Because, like, There's no reason for you to fudge and try to write something that the professor is not asking you to write about. That's a waste of time for you and the professor. So there's that. Number 2, don't plagiarize. Don't do that shit. Don't do it. Okay? Especially now with like how evolved and developed um the I don't even know what to call it, software, the computing shit, okay? Um they can run your paper through a plagiarism checker, and in a matter of seconds, the plagiarism checker will tell your professor whether or not you lifted portions of your term paper from somewhere else. Okay, and some of these plagiarism checkers, they're very good. Okay, and it doesn't just tell the professor like whether or not you plagiarized. It'll tell the professor what percentage of your paper is plagiarized, are not your own words. Okay? So it'll tell the professor, like, anything over 25%, oh shit, no, you're failing that thing. Okay? Like, don't even plagiarize. It's underhanded, it's sneaky, it's morally wrong. It's wrong in every conceivable way. Don't do it. And they have, like, before, and we didn't even need plagiarism checkers. A lot of professors, like, had a sixth sense regarding whether or not a student's work was original. And we had our like own little analog ways of checking. And 9 times out of 10, you're right. Your intuition like guides you, and you're right. Now with the plagiarism checkers, like what I don't know what it's called, like Turnitin or something. Don't even try. Don't even try to plagiarize. It's a waste of time. Anyway, find a style manual and learn how to use it. I just showed you that. Okay, I'm going to leave those links in the description. Also, don't write more than your professor or teacher asks. Let's say your professor or teacher asks for 3 pages, 4 pages, about 1,000 words, whatever. Stick to that. If you're going to do a little more, do a little more. If it says 1,000 words, okay, like you can do up to like 1,200 or whatever. If it says up to 5 pages, don't do much more than, an extra half page or whatever. You know why? Because your professor has to read all those papers by all those students, and you're probably, like, the class they're teaching, the class that you're in is probably not the only class they're teaching that semester. They've got maybe 2, 3 more, however many more courses that they're teaching, and they have to read term papers from all those other courses. Like, yeah, we don't need to see a 10-page paper when we asked for a 4-page paper. Because that, no, that's annoying. I know you want to show off, but that's not the way to do it. A really, really awesome way of showing off would be to write something spectacular within the allotted parameters of the assignment. If it says 4 pages, stick to 4 pages, but make those 4 pages awesome. Give it your all. Put yourself into the writing. Really enjoy reading and studying whatever it is that you're writing about in your term paper. That will shine through. And your professor will see that. That's going to impress them. Not writing, 30% more pages than what they asked for. And, in the off chance that most of those pages are like paraphrased. So, no. You're not going to impress anybody that way. Okay, so there's that. Follow all the instructions. Okay? We're regarding the margins, regarding the font, regarding the size of the font, regarding, if they specifically ask you to answer a certain question, do that. Okay, don't not do it. If they specifically ask you to answer a question within the body of the paper, don't not answer that question. Because, they'll dock points because you neglected to do something that is said right there in the instructions to do. Okay, so there's, stuff like that. Also, last but not least, if you are having issues, if you're not a great writer, and most of us are not, ask for help. ask your professor for help. If your professor doesn't have the time or the whatever to help you, a lot of professors are very kind with regard to that, and they will be willing to read your rough draft and then tell you, okay, this is good, but this is what you could have done better, and then you could go back, they'll give it back to you, and you can go back and redo it or modify it, and then turn in the modified version. Yeah, some professors will do that. If your professor can't or doesn't have the time to do that, there's also tutoring centers. Take advantage of those. Every campus has one for just about every subject. So yeah, do that. Okay? Don't be ashamed. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. So, last but not least, exams, midterms, finals. Okay. Like I said, here we go. This is where the note-taking comes in handy. Right? It'll be a breeze to study for exams if you did your work in class, in the lecture, taking notes while listening to the professor's lecture. All right? And then you type those notes, or you highlight those notes, or you organize those notes into some kind of system, or flashcards, or whatever it is that you do, whatever you're comfortable with. Like, do that. Use your notes exclusively to study, and you'll see what I mean in a second when I explain that. It says right here, don't even bother reading the textbook. Not when you're studying for an exam. You can do that like during the times when you're not studying for exam. That's kind of what it's there for. But don't even bother reading the textbook or trying to read the whole thing like the night before the exam. No, you're just going to go lose your mind if you try to do that. I do not recommend that even a little bit. Okay? And for written exams, such as essay type exams, use the parrot method. And I will explain what that means in a second. Gonna take a little break. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Alright, it took me a little while. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, I had to take a little break. There was a distraction. Anyway, where was I? Yes, don't even bother reading the textbook. For written exams, use the parrot method. Okay? And when I say don't bother reading it, I mean, where is she? Don't bother reading all of that. That's unnecessary. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at all of this. Look at how much of it there is. Jesus Christ. There's too much stuff here to look at, to read. So you're not going to do that the night before the exam. And if you're like me, you're not ever going to want to read that much text in your textbook, whether it's a hard copy, page turner textbook, or like a digital ebook copy. This is crazy. So I never understood textbooks, you guys. I never. Look, see, this is how I felt when I would have to read something for school. I would give up. I would be just like Wendy here, Shelley Duvall's character in The Shining, and I would just be like, you know what? This is not helping anybody. And for those of you who don't like to read, that's kind of the secret of my presentation. You don't really have to. Okay? And this is what I'm talking about here. It says for written exams, use the parrot method. What the hell does that mean? What the hell am I talking about? Well, remember when I spent so much time on the lecture notes section? This is why it's so important to attend class, as many as you can. Use the buddy system if you're, too busy having fun. But attend as many classes as you can. Write down as much as you can as possible. Write all of your notes by hand during the lecture as much as you can. And then later use a note-taking system of whatever kind, either the ones that I showed you or your own method that you invent to do it. That's your studying. That's the parrot method. Because if you're doing an essay exam, people hate essay exams. I don't know why. Essay exams are like a dream. They're not multiple choice exams. People think multiple choice is easy. I mean, it can be. It can be if you pick, if you do pay at least half attention in class, and you're doing a multiple choice exam, like, even if you didn't listen that well or you're not the best student, you can still kind of pick the one that seems to make the most sense, the most logical answer. But still, there's like that chance, like depending on if it's 4 or 5 um, choices, like A through D or A through E or whatever, there's like however much percentage of a chance you're going to get it wrong, even if you think you got it right. But with an essay exam, you could just write whatever. And I mean, don't write whatever, but you write whatever, right? Your professor or their TA is gonna read it, yeah. And that TA, oh my goodness, that TA is gonna be even harder on you than the professor with regard to like reading your exams and your term papers and whatever. That's another little tip. But use the parrot method. So your professor is looking to basically, in your essay, whatever it's about, whatever they ask you, it's going to be about something that you discussed in class, okay? That's why you need to emphasize these lecture notes. And what your professor wants to do is like see basically their own words parroted back to them. You know, like a parrot. Parrots don't really know how to. They're not human beings. They're birds. But when they hear human beings talk, like somehow they remember it and they repeat it later. That's what you're expected to do as a student. You're expected to basically just repeat whatever the professor said to you, or said during the lecture. You could do a little variation here and there. You're not probably going to get all of it word for word, but do as close to word for word as you possibly can. That's where your lecture notes come in. Take good notes. Write down as much as you possibly can, every single word that you possibly can that the professor says about whatever they're talking about on any given day of the lecture. If they're lecturing about it, there's a good chance it's going to be on the exam. If they say it twice, if they talk about the same thing twice, more than once, there's especially a good chance it's going to be on the exam. So that's why you need to pay attention in class. And that's why reading, don't even bother reading the textbook. That's why it's kind of a waste of time. The professor wants to hear or read rather, on your exam, whatever it is that they said in class during the lecture. That is what they're expecting to see as the answer to whatever question they're asking on an essay exam. Okay? And this goes for short answer formats too. All right? So that's that. That's my last slide. I've got 12 of them. Thank goodness it wasn't more than 12. Lucky number 13. So that's that. This is what school feels like for a lot of people. Wendy, losing her damn mind. In The Shining. I've got a couple more gifts. There's this one. See, I don't like reading. This cat is better than me. This cat, and whether you're reading, the old-fashioned way, a book, or like, this angry little kitty at the laptop, right? I feel like this kitty is conscientious and studious. This kitty is probably on the dean's list, okay? And this cat is serious about his education. I was not, okay? I was not. I didn't see the point of wasting all that time in school, because I kind of knew it was a sham, but like I still felt bad about it. So anyway, that's that for today. I think I've covered everything that I could cover. In my experience, if you don't like reading, follow my instructions here, and it might just help you. You never know. So if you don't want to end up like this, losing your mind in school or whatever, just like go through this again, and it should serve you in good stead. So hopefully I've helped somebody. If I haven't, let me know in the comments. If you have any tips or tricks or suggestions or whatever, please share them with the world, or with my viewers and my listeners. That would be great. So I guess that's it, you guys. I'm gonna get back to this content soon. Um, soon, soon. Are you out of your fucking mind? Yes, I am. So I'm gonna get to this fun content. The Shining content soon. I don't know if I'll be doing part 15 or like a Tony analysis or something else, but it'll be Shining related, and I have so many other videos that I want to do. Too much shit going on lately. But until I do another video, hopefully part 15 or something else, I will, until I find yet another reason to talk at you. Oh, and by the way, new viewers, thank you for being new. Subscribers, thank you for subscribing. Returning viewers, thank you for returning. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And that's it for the church announcement. So until next time, until I find yet another reason to talk at you, I'm going to go ahead and bid you bye-bye. So, bye-bye, everybody.